Hello, happy Monday. I've been away for a couple of weeks because of Easter holiday, so it's nice to see, nice to be back and joining you on these Mothering and Matrescence Mondays. These are usually I have a guest on a Monday to talk about different topics about challenges that we experience as we become mothers. However, I don't have a guest today, so it's just me. And I wanted to come here and talk to you a little bit about matrescence. So if you've been following me on my Instagram here, on my grid and stories, you might see me talking about matrescence. And I just wanted to come here and tell you a little bit about what it is. You might have heard about matrescence. You might have not heard about matrescence. So I thought it would be nice to come here and just have a little bit of a conversation of what is matrescence. So matrescence is the transitional period that we experience as we become mothers. So when we go from being women to becoming mothers and women, we go through matrescence. And this is a developmental transition that actually, if you think about the name matrescence, it sounds like adolescence. And it's a similar transition in the sense that it involves many changes across our lives and our experience. So from hormonal changes that we go through from pregnancy and birth, and it just has a very wide impact, a big impact in many areas of our lives as women. We experience physical changes, psychological changes. We experience changes in our social life, in our relationships, in our career, and in our values, and how what we want, what's important for us. So there's so many changes, even kind of where we land in and where we fit in a society and in a culture. We kind of land into a new social realm, which is motherhood, that comes with a lot of expectations and values, the things that we should do as mothers. So there's a lot that we experience, and when we become mothers, we think that it's just I'm just gonna give birth and become a mother because I'm gonna be caring after a baby. But actually, motherhood is much more complex because there's a lot in our lives that changes. And I'm very passionate about this topic. And I think it's a topic that can be seen with a bit of a negative outlook, as in because it's there's not enough support, and it's just very hard for women that carry most of the emotional load of motherhood, the physical load of motherhood, the mental load of motherhood. However, I believe that there's also a positive, I guess a more positive angle to this whole experience of motherhood. Yes, we experience a big change, but actually it's also an opportunity to grow. If you think about that time where you were a child and then you became an adult, you're growing into a new version of yourself. But similarly, in motherhood, when we become mothers, we grow into a new version of ourselves. So it's a great opportunity to look at your life and your beliefs and your values, and actually reconsider some of them, and maybe do changes that can help you thrive better in this new stage, and actually pursue a life that feels meaningful, that makes you feel fulfilled. So it is a great opportunity, and so we can see that from different angle as well. And I think one of the biggest changes that we experience in matrescence is that change of our identity. So the identity change is big and can be very hard to come to terms with, and hard to navigate, and quite a big reckoning for some of us, and it certainly was for me. Because before I became a mom, I was identifying myself with many things that when I became a mother were taken away. Like one of my biggest parts of my identity was work, and then suddenly I had a year off work, and then I was very active, so I used to do a lot of exercise and train for triathlons and very physical. And then because I had very difficult pregnancy and pain, and I couldn't do that anymore. And then you got all the social life that then was taken away as well. So this going out into town to work and just being very social and just being surrounded with people all the time, and then suddenly landing into this new life where I was alone most of the time with the baby at home was very challenging. So definitely identity can be very difficult to navigate. This identity change can be very difficult to navigate for some of us. And so it's something that can be very helpful as you become a mother and you are experiencing that reckoning of your identity. Is just have a time to reflect. The first to acknowledge and give yourself a little bit of compassion and kindness and understanding, by knowing that this is part of your matrescence journey. There's nothing wrong with you, and it's not like this is not supposed to happen. This is supposed to happen. You are supposed to experience that change in your identity. Because essentially, if you think about your identity, it's not a single version of the truth. So our identity is how we see ourselves and how other people see us. And if you think about how you are at work, you might be very different. Hi, Sam. You might be very different how you are at work, how you act with your friends from school or university, or how you're with your partner. So definitely our identity has many, many layers. And so this process, what we are doing is we are expanding our identity, and we are integrating a new layer into this identity. Hi, Sam. I'm talking about identity. And so, so we are creating space for that new layer, a new part of our identity. And so something that can be helpful as we go through this process is to do some values work. So look at what has changed, what remains important to you, what actually is not that important anymore. Because as we become mothers, we may experience changes in our values, in our value system. So things that perhaps you were very driven and career driven, and the most important thing for you is your career, and suddenly some women might experience that actually after they have children, actually I'm not that keen about work, or I'm not that bothered, or it's not that important anymore. So looking at your values and doing some very deep reflection and honest reflection on what is important to you right now can be very helpful. Because actually, when you look at your identity as well, there are things that will remain constant throughout our life, but as we grow, there are things that change. So our values change throughout our lives, and definitely will change in motherhood. So definitely a great time to do some values work and just look at what's important. And once you know what's important to you and what feels meaningful, then you can look at how you bring some of that into wherever stage you are in life and in motherhood. And it might be that you can't do what you used to do, but then how does that look like right now? For instance, if something that you love to do before being mother is perhaps you like your work because you could express yourself creatively, that's an example, then how can you bring some of that in this stage of motherhood, whether you're having have a small baby or a toddler or wherever you are in this journey? How can you bring some of that creative expression in your life? It might be that you sign up for a I don't know, art class, or just there are many ways that you can actually bring your values into your life. So sometimes we think perhaps our job was everything and it's everything for us, but actually what was meaningful for you, or what made you feel fulfilled from work? So was it that you could you were stimulated intellectually, that you were learning new stuff? Was it that you could connect with other people? So really explore and be honest with yourself, because sometimes we're not honest with ourselves, and we just, you know, we just go and say what we think we should say or what's expected from us. But if you're honest with yourself and think, okay, what is important? What do I like from this? For instance, from my work. And then if you say, actually, it was that I could be learning all the time, then how could I keep learning in this season that I'm in right now? It might be that, you know, during your postpartum, you're not able to dedicate a lot of time to do a new career or a 6-month training or whatever. But what can you do? Perhaps you can have lessons of a new language, or learn to play an instrument. So those are some ideas that can help you navigate these changes in matrescence, particularly those changes in the identity. So yeah, I hope you find this useful, and I'm gonna leave it here for today, and I'm gonna come back next Monday with hopefully I'm gonna have a guest, need to confirm, and I'll keep you posted in the grid, and I'll see you later.